smuggling routes that we were having a lot of problems with. You had a pathway that came up because of the cartel, and you're right there on Highway 2 in Mexico. So the cartels would all sit down there in those buildings during the day, and then at night they would bring them up and then walk up because this was all open. But now they've changed it.
So that's right. The border marker, I have it in the last video, and I went right up to it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you said this is Biden wall.
Yeah, Biden put this part up.
I understood what you said earlier. Biden put it up near the agriculture because it was posing a problem with the farmers, but he actually was putting up wall in the middle of nowhere too? Okay, so why did we not hear anything about that? So they were caring a bit about the border, fair to say? A bit.
Because we exposed it. And when you're talking about cartels exploiting a weakness and then people dying, that's not a good message.
Okay, so that's a story that's new to me today, is that Biden was putting up wall. And so it turned so political that for his party it would have been looked at as a weakness maybe, and then the Republicans wouldn't want to show it because it would show, well, he's actually putting up wall and that's what we want to do, so that's not good for us.
Or your politics. But, you know, when you got, what I tell you, in 2022 there was 70 in one year that died out here?
70 died out here.
22. And then over 35 in 2023.
Yeah, in that Indian family that just got off the plane, that just looked like they got out of the mall.
Yeah.
They weren't going to make the night out there in the clothes they had.
They didn't have anything on them.
Because it was cold at that time.
You're talking 35, 40 miles to go from here up to anything where civilization would be. And you're going right through a bombing. So you got military. This is all Berry and Bullwater bombing range. So the military's out here training all the time. So you got troops on the ground, they're doing live fire. You've got aircraft doing live fire. Cartel that. They got their money. Here you go, you're in the U.S. Go that way. And you don't need a gallon of water, you'll be okay.
Is it good to have Trevette back?
It's good to see you again, Trevette.
You couldn't have done it without me.
Couldn't have. Well, you know, here's the deal. It's like I told you about that truck. It was donated for the borders in your backyard for not only sheriffs, but other media outlets to come out here. I'm taking them all out here. I've done the same thing with you that I did with them. But if
awesome speech. I gotta take these guys out, these auto gears, because they're gonna be really a big issue. Alright, time to come in now. That wasn't really smart of the AI to do that, to send cavalry straight to spearmen. That's not a really smart move. Alright, I gotta start. Oh shit. Alright, I gotta send these guys in now. I don't really want to, but I have no choice. Shit, this is not what I wanted. I wish I had more fucking cavalry. Alright, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. Alright. Let's get these guys now. Come on. the other legion here. There's my legion right there. Okay, this cannot die. Alright, we got this. No way. How? No fucking way, how? Oh shit, this is not good. No fucking way. Oh, this is gonna be such a big fucking problem. Oh, come on, guys. No, I don't just have enough fucking cavalry. I have no choice really to go out there. Oh, that shit's so risky. Hold on. Just don't have enough fucking men to go around. What the fuck is my cavalry doing? Come on, go, 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 go. Don't even waste time. Don't even waste time. Go. Ah, it's fucking over. Nah, dude, it's not even going well. I'm pretty much fucked now. No, I just do not have enough men for this shit. I really don't. Dude, if I had fucking 2 more scout cavalry, I could have won this probably, but I just do not have the manpower anymore. Wait, hold on. I have an idea. We could win this possibly, we'll see, but oh, don't, yeah, come on, charge it. Okay, I might win this actually. Well, this was too close, affected son. Way too close. My day's pretty good so far. I just ate already, so I don't plan on being on for too long. Honestly, I'm probably gonna get off at what time? Probably like 3 hours. I don't plan on playing this game all day, honestly, but what was I gonna say? Damn, I lost so many fucking units, holy shit. But whatever, we pulled it off. Other than that, it's been uneventful, is what I'm trying to say. I got some plans today, so Alright, we got a warrant unit out here, and that's about it, really. Alright, I'm gonna let these guys rest for a little bit. They're very tired. No. I'll be on for a while. But it's like 3 hours or so, not half an hour. I just started the stream anyway. I did win this, but yeah. Favorite victory. You are victorious, but what it cost. Many have paid the ultimate price. Yep, they have. Damn, fuck man, I lost so many units for this. And then I'm gonna go back to Runescape and work on agility for a couple of hours or so. Please be a square. Yes, it's a square. No, we got this. We should be able to work with this. Where else? Huh. Thought that's gonna be more, but that's it, huh? So I'm just set up here for my battle. Guys, fucking groggy my throat all the time. I was gonna say, since they have more numbers, I'm gonna try to bottleneck them so that way they're not using their numbers as their advantage. Really, I'm trying to deny them that really as much as possible. Just a heads up, my phone screen might be damaged as white bright line just appeared out of nowhere. Oh. No, you're fine. That sucks. In case my phone screen goes out randomly. You're fine, dude. I mean, hopefully that gets fixed. Alright, we're good. Let's start this. It's gonna be a long day. Damn, 5 years old? Yeah, you might as well just upgrade, dude. I mean, usually 2 or 3 years is more than enough for upgrade, if you ask me. But yeah. That's a lot of reinforcements right there. Okay, that's a huge fucking army right there, but I'm not too worried. We got this. Yeah, let's soak up these guys really quick. Ideally, we do want to kill their general at some point, obviously. It's just used for my FB and Twitch. Oh, 30 spears. Come on, 30 spears. Shit. Ah, this is what I fucking feared. No fucking way. This is the shit I fucking fear would happen. And then we still got another army down here. Fuck. Oh, good. Oh, that's good. Okay, at least we got their fucking spirit guy or whatever his name is. Man, you guys took a fucking beating. Oh, there they are. Oh, they're exhausted? Oh shit, that's not good for them. This is why you never run your army far away for long periods of time, otherwise you're gonna lose a lot of the energy. Never mind, they're running away now. Perfect. Yep, save the spears. We're gonna have to throw them down here too. I'll show you now, hold on. There. Alright, so that's one army done. And I barely lost any men, which is good. So we're off to a good start. Perfect. Yep, fucking knocked their asses out. Yep, they're done. They're all okay. They're all done. Perfect. Damn, I lost a lot of men here. What the fuck? Oh, the fucking archers. Alright, let's... Oh no, where are you guys going? What the fuck? Yeah, they got more archers. I'm gonna chase these guys down. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, it's time for these guys to get chased down now. Actually, better yet. Oh, go, 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 run. Oh, beautiful. Perfect. Okay, they're running away now. Okay, they're hotter than asses right now. Don't slow down. Come on, fucking run, guys. Jesus Christ, run. Jesus Christ, come on, chase them. Don't fucking get entangled. Oh, this is what I'm actually worried. The chef's fucking worried about that thing chasing me. They're dead anyway, they're fucked. Yeah, they're done for. Holy shit. They're already routed? You know, I'm not even gonna complain, honestly. We'll fucking let them run away. Yeah, they're done for. Oh my god, that was Jesus, that was a quick route. For a big army, their army was they sure had a lot of deserters. They fucking deserted so easily. Look at that. But you know why? That's because I killed their general earlier. Honestly, a lot of their army was still intact. And to tell you the truth, I wish I can kill them all, but not like in a malicious way. Just I wish I can slaughter them all, honestly, because them leaving away this many numbers, that means they can come back again, and I want to destroy their army permanently. And I mean, great victory, but I just don't have enough cavalry for this. Like ideally, if I had like 3 scout equites or cavalry Dalmatia cavalry, I could just send them in and just start cutting them down, and then that way they're not coming back. But once I end this battle, dude, they're gonna come back, because a lot of the numbers are still intact. Therefore, they have their reserves. Yeah, they can't come back. if you don't inflict enough high damage against them, they'll come back. But if you take a lot of the numbers, you know, destroy the majority of their units, they'll be forced to disband, meaning they'll be deleted. They're gone. They're not coming back. But unfortunately, in this case, they're gonna have to come back because I did not kill the majority of them. Still a great victory though, but not the one I was looking for. I wanted a complete slaughter. They're gonna come back, dude, and that's a problem. But hey, look at those numbers, dude. So it was literally 6,000 versus almost 3,000. But look, it was literally 1 against 2. But yeah, they suffer high casualties. Yeah, I literally killed all the generals. As you can see right here, so if you see red, that means that unit is done. That unit is not coming back. That unit is done. But if you see units like this with no red on the background, that means they survive, but you know they're gonna come back. Unfortunately, yeah, these 2 armies right here, they're still intact. But at least I killed the generals in the process. Dude, all 3 of them. Holy shit. But I need manpower, so I'm gonna have to take them in. A couple more, I'll hop onto RuneScape eventually. Alright, the White Huns. So right now it's their turn. Like I said, this is a turn-based game, strategy game, so they're taking a turn right now as we speak. Malta is not in this, as far as I know. I mean, there's Sicily, but I don't have Malta. Unfortunately, they didn't include it in this one. I gotta win this. Just got so many slingers. No, it's there. It's just unnamed, unfortunately. Like they didn't make it like a settlement or like a major, not a target, but just like they didn't make anything out of it. Honestly, it's there. I'm just thinking right now. Well, good luck with that, because this game came out 10 years ago. I cannot believe it's been 10 years. Oh boy. Yep, they have been lost. And he's got more reinforcements. Okay, let's see how this goes. No, I'm sure they have. I'm not too confident I'll run this, but we'll see. So far we're holding right now, but yeah, fucking chase them now. I forgot I got cavalry here. I mean, so far we're holding, I guess, but there's more units coming in anyway. It's not even half, well, yeah, it's half of it, but still. I'll show you my archers. Really? They're not fucking dead? Okay, now they're dead. They should be dead now. Alright. I gotta turn this around now. Because I'm literally worried about these pikes. We might win this, but we'll see. I mean, it's too early to tell. I'm not gonna lie, this game is kind of janky too, cause come on, react. Oh shit. No, good enough for me. They still have a lot of the army left. Yeah, they do. That's what I'm saying. It was 2 armies, but we pulled it off. I mean, now they're out of ammo. So usually when you see our ranged units, they have like a blue line, a blue meter, and it's basically their ammo. And once you don't see that blue meter or blue line, whatever, it means they're empty. They got nothing more to throw. And obviously these guys are not really good as infantry. They're gonna get really killed easily, as you're about to observe. I don't know what these guys are doing, but I mean, whatever it is we'll see. And I think they're trying to go around, but I don't know if I said this in the past, but the AI in this game is not that great. It's very janky. They make weird decisions. Alright, flank him. Okay, now they're done. Yeah, you're good. timing. Whatever. Not yet. Alright, the cavalry's my only hope now at this point. No, I think they won this fucking battle. I just don't have enough fucking men. Wait, if I can kill the general earlier, that'd be great. No, don't fall back. Oh, kill the general, kill it. I just don't have enough fucking cavalry units, man. That's gonna kill my fucking cavalry. Kill the fucking general.
The men are broken and running for their lives. The general has been killed. Excellent.
It's just a Hail Mary attempt now at this point. I don't have enough men. It's over. I did as much damage as I could, really. There's not much I can do at this point now, really, guys. It's over. They had more men. I didn't. Yeah, it's fucking over. I mean, I took more men, honestly. I mean, yeah, man, those odds were pretty crazy, honestly. But you know what? I could probably go back out there, maybe kill one of their armies.
Our wares have merits which would appeal
It really was 5,000 versus 1,000. I took a lot of other guys. I took like almost 3,000 other guys. So I know I lost it, but I did do a lot of damage really. So that's a good way, really. I mean, I'm dragging them down, but I'm still losing territory. But yeah, I'll show you real quick. Malta is not really there, unfortunately. I mean, it's there, but like it's just not. They made a settlement, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I lost the settlement too, guys. Yeah, Africa is completely lost. Well, technically it's Libya, but yeah. Jesus Christ, it's never ending. Yeah, Malta is not here for some reason, but I mean, there it is, technically. I mean, I'm assuming this is Malta somewhere here. I mean, they drew the land and shit, but they just didn't really make a settlement. I mean, there's Syracuse. I'm getting raided all around, and I just don't have the fucking legions. Oh, perfect. Alright, that's good. So I defeated one of them at least. Kept telling me I had to have a verified account to chat. Huh. That's the first time. But I mean, isn't your account already verified? Is that the first time, or you have to do that multiple times? Not yet. Twitch won't send me a code to verify it. That's weird. That's the first time I hear this, honestly. Okay, give it another shot. That's weird. It's the first time hearing this, really. Might as well finish off the rest of these fuckers. Alright, I guess next turn. Alright, I'm trying to get better relations with the Vandals. So I don't have to really worry about my southern flank. For now. Alright, let's see how this goes. Holy shit, they kill the Ostrogoths. No, let him have it.
Okay.
Attila was born. All knelt before him. For they knew he would devour the earth and set on
Wait, what faction got destroyed? Oh, nice. I guess I don't have to worry about them anymore, really, but now I gotta worry about the Huns. Alright, that's one band to worry about. Things are starting to look better for us now. That's better cavalry. Fucking diseases and shit. Archers. I'm trying to think right now. I really want the Auxilia Palatinas as Spearman standard now. Oh, and this is my Legion now, my favorite one. That's come out of retirement. Okay. Yep. Troopers, Milton. Alright, I guess I have no choice but I hit the next turn. Okay, where wants to Legion in. Alright, a couple more turns, I'll switch to Runescape. Oh, now they're backing out now. Oh, this is what I fucking feared. Just don't have the fucking numbers for it. Again, don't have the numbers. I just can't. Great, now we're fucking starving. No one eat food. Oh fuck, this Legion's gonna get starved. Fuck. I'm broke and I don't have enough money. This is really fucked. don't give a shit. Let it have it. Alright, let's pick this up. come on.
Enemy units have rallied and returned to the battle.
Yeah, we got this.
The enemy are losing ground.
Oh, come on, Jason, what are you doing? I swear, sometimes the shit lags. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, move. Alright, we got this. Sorry, one, but my God, sometimes this game is so janky, I don't know why.
Enemy units have returned to the battle.
They should at least rework on the mechanics of this game for a little bit. I mean, it is the result, but still, can't be this janky. I don't think they have updated this game in years, dude. I'll be telling you honestly, I don't think they have even touched this. Alright, I'm gonna save this for now. So, do some RuneScape. Without caps.
Apparently they didn't put the messaging out there because obviously they changed it to meet their need. And that's the problem with media nowadays is they have to push a narrative, so they have to spin whatever you say. And I've seen it many times myself where I've said something and they take that little snippet of it, but when you take the whole context of the conversation out of
There
that
it is.
little snippet, it makes it sound better.
You said off camera you brought a New York Times journalist out here and spent a full day, and she didn't write anything really about what you guys
We spent till late at night. We were out here in the middle of the desert at night
Uh-huh.
with her. She got to see a lot of the stuff that kind of like what you saw.
Yeah?
And it's like, okay, well, we spent a lot of time. I did it. Sheriff Daniels did it with Cochise County down in this county. Same thing. And we were kind of, okay, let's see what comes out of this. And it was just a small little paragraph in a whole huge article about down here on the border, but it really didn't cover all the impacts that we discussed on the hospital, the family advocacy center, the mission, on law enforcement. It didn't cover any of that. And then she calls back later after.
All right, I still was in the
invest any more time that I'm never gonna get back
wilderness track,
for what you're doing.
and there's nobody here, which is good.
For a political narrative. And I think we talked about that when we were out there in the middle of the desert when you found that radio system.
Yeah.
It was like, get your personal political ideologies out of public safety. Period. The first time that we met Mayorkas, the sheriffs, when Mayorkas was sworn in, and we gave him a 16-point plan of success.
Hopefully this doesn't tag me.
Later, we asked him, why haven't you implemented any of this? And then his response was, did you give me something? He didn't even remember our conversation. And he had actually removed Sheriff Daniels, who was supported by national sheriffs, western state sheriffs, Arizona sheriffs, Southwest border sheriffs, to sit on the Homeland Security Council back then. And when he came on, he wrote Mark Daniels' letter saying, we no longer need your services, Sheriff. He was the only sheriff or law enforcement person on that Homeland Security Council. Period. That was it. He removed that. When Mayorkas came down there, in fact, this is one of our board of supervisors even called him out because we were trying to get him to understand the complexities of what we were dealing with here. And he lied to Jonathan Lyons, our board of supervisor, who Jonathan Lyons even testified when they had a hearing here, how Mayorkas said he was going to take care of this and he was going to fix all the problems that we had down here. And Jonathan Lyons said he didn't do shit. And I was testifying too at that field hearing and basically explained to him that he wasn't doing anything. And the second time I met Mayorkas, I told him he was foolish. Because he didn't do anything that he said he was going to do.
You said those exact words?
Yeah.
What'd he say?
You just think, well, Sheriff, well, do your job. Why are you creating these issues? You haven't fixed any of these problems that we've showed you. And he was at a round table. He was with NGOs, with the hospital, with the farmers. I mean, he sat there and listened to every one of them and didn't do nothing. So yeah, I told him he was foolish. He didn't follow through on anything that he said he was going to do. He just did the narrative that his bosses told him to do. So there's that.
They're the federales. Do you know any of those guys over there? So the Mexican government, I've heard, has stepped up with protecting the border also.
So the Mexican president actually sent law enforcement and the military to the border.
Okay.
For us here, you didn't see any military, did you?
No.
No.
U.S. military, no.
Or Mexican.
Or Mexican, no.
See them?
No.
They're working the ports.
Okay.
So the Mexican military is actually doing the inbound stuff from the U.S. into Mexico.
What's the inbound from U.S. to Mexico? Guns?
Guns, ammo, money. So all these years they've been complaining about guns being smuggled into Mexico from the U.S., right? Why weren't they doing that before? You see what I'm saying?
Well, there's
You
no-
you
there's
can
no
do it now, but you couldn't do it before. But
You
you're
didn't know
harping
there
on the
was-
U.S. for smuggling guns in your country, making life miserable for the people. Why weren't you doing inbound border checks back then? Why? Because the cartels would probably threaten their life. It's a whole different ballgame in Mexico. The cartels control the officials and everything else. Because if you don't, they kill you. It's pretty easy.
So wild. Just the rules of the game, 10 feet away over in that dirt, night and day.
Night and day. God bless the honest cops over there. There are some, but they live day to day. They really do.
Okay, so when you talk about law enforcement and corruption, humans are human. A certain percentage that are going to try to get away with whatever they can get away with. But what would you say, nobody knows this, what percentage of law enforcement in the United States is corrupt? That's a tough one. I mean, there are bad cops.
There
Obviously,
are.
whenever you put thousands of people under one label, you're going to get some bad apples.
You're gonna get bad apples anywhere.
Yes,
It's easier for us here to call that out.
right. Is there any cartel on the Yuma side that controls anything, or not really? It's just all underground.
So you look at the cartel people. Yeah, they probably.
What's
live
the
in
blue
US.
B cube gold thing near your friend's list?
Some of the higher ranking ones.
Combat mode
They're
revolution.
in the US, so they don't have to worry about any kind of retaliation.
Living Death asked me that same question a couple days ago.
On their family over there.
I told him it's always been there.
Right.
So you're right, anywhere you go. I mean, everybody.
I think it lets me toggle between full manual and full revolution.
In their agencies. The thing is, though, is we police ourselves, especially here. I can say that for my agency that anytime anybody has done something that's outside of what we should be doing, my own troops call them out, and we have not ever hesitated to hold those people accountable. Because, like I've always said, I don't care who you are or how big you are, you'll still fit in my jail. And we put our own in jail.
I think it is a steady thing. So if
I
I
never compromise any of that.
so if I right click it, it literally gives me the option to click between combat mode full manual. and then combat mode full revolution.
Seen what you guys deal with on a day-to-day.
I haven't really messed with it, to be honest, because I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of worried if I do it, it might mess with the action bar or something, or it might cause a bug. So I really decided not to mess with it really, but it's there.
Mexico. Though it's not perfect, it's amazingly good with law enforcement. I can never pay off a cop. Hey, here's 20 bucks.
Nope.
Let me go.
Nah.
Right? And I'm sure there are a few examples out there, but for the most part,
For the most
that is
part,
a true blessing
that is.
to have your basic day-to-day interaction not laced in corruption.
And that's where
I mean, it might
there's
be.
certain politicians that like to bring that part into, well, those are the people that are here illegally are going to lose.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's in there for a while,
To
but
report a crime.
I mean, it's okay. It doesn't bother me, to be honest.
Doing this almost 40
It doesn't get in the way really.
There are routes that law enforcement and those folks know that if
So
we
I'll just leave it there for
even
cosmetics, I
if they're
guess.
illegally, we can get them a B visa to stay in the United States, so we can address that assault, that rape, that robbery, that homicide, that domestic, whatever the case may be. So those cops are bought in that country. They're already scared of law enforcement as it is. So it doesn't help for a politician in the United States of America trying to push that agenda off on us when they know well that that's not how we operate, that we're there to serve the people, no matter where they're from. So that part kind of pisses you off too, because they're trying to spin another narrative that's false. Anyway, there's another rant.
I like it. Hey, it's the place for it. Long form video. I'm not cutting it all up, so
Well,
it's gonna be a long one.
so this was YMC, but is now on VITA Medical Center. This is where you'll get a chance to talk about the impacts that we were experiencing here.
Do you know how to parallel park, Sheriff? You're proud?
I have a commercial driver's license. I can drive a semi truck. Where do you want me to park? I don't rely on that.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, bro, come on. What do you keep falling? You got 66
How are you?
agility. How bad can you be?
I couldn't just.
Nice to meet you.
What a joke.
Sorry about that.
You have another hand? There we go. All right, cool.
How are you? Come out of
Let's
the
do
front.
that. So we just walk beside me and.
All right.
So, the average American doesn't understand, you know, we heard a few things about the border. They're not thinking about like the second, third, fourth order effects of like how it affects schools
Right.
or hospitals.
Right.
And I just wanted to get your guys' perspective because I tried to get it last time.
So you
I
said
was
keep doing
still
agility
in town to
until like
get it, but,
77 agility
you guys,
on this place?
because of the policies on the border, it affected your operations here. Can you walk us through that, what that
It
was
does.
like?
I think the biggest thing to remember, I think for most people, this, where we are,
Yeah.
geographically located, we're the only hospital for a 180-mile radius or a 3-hour drive. So we're it for our
Okay.
community, and we're it for anybody who comes into our door.
Okay.
In 2022, we were seeing, sometimes.
Okay, that's what the wiki recommends? Okay.
To where we are today. The last 6
Right.
months, we've seen about 76 patients in a 6-month period
Coming over the border that
coming
need
over the
assistance.
border.
Okay.
And I think the difference today than what we saw before is most of those 76 patients, all of them but 4, came in with Border Patrol or like an ICE or government
Okay.
agency.
Okay.
Our entire focus throughout this has been to make sure we provide the same level of care for every person.
Wait, hold on. Do I have my
And
keys
as a hospital,
today?
that's regardless of their ability to pay. But that left
No,
us
no
a
keys.
bolus
Oh,
of
wow.
$26 million unpaid in charges in 2022. Today, if they're coming, because they're coming in Border Patrol, we will get reimbursed. It takes a while, but we get
Okay.
reimbursed for a portion of that, the emergency care.
Okay.
So if somebody comes in and delivers a baby, we get.
I also think I found out how to
those
remove that
rates
thing if you want
for the
to.
delivery,
Okay.
but the care after that.
The,
because
that-
the
that
mom and the
shield
baby has to go to the NICU and
that you're
not
talking about?
emergency anymore.
Oh,
We
okay.
would still have that.
You have to pay for that.
We would still pay for that, yes.
Which
Yeah.
means other patients pay for it in
Sure,
the long run.
right.
Right.
All of us with commercial insurance, those people in the community would pay for that, but it's really the function of a nonprofit hospital. You are here to provide for the needs of whoever presents to our door.
Okay, so I heard last time I was here of a woman who was going to give birth, but there was just no room here.
All right, how do you remove
So she
that
had to
thing?
go to Phoenix to do it. Was there much of that going on? Is
I think in the very peak of those times, and it wouldn't be that we would be transferring to people to Phoenix, but they might have had to wait. So if you have a delivery that's a scheduled delivery, they might be asked to say is come in at 1 o'clock. They might come in tomorrow at 8. So I think some of those things were happening. When you have a
All
large
right, let
bolus
me
of
finish this
people
course
Yeah.
real quick and
they
then.
come on their own. So in
Well,
2020,
settings.
they were coming on their own. And they had no resources. So by the time they made whatever journey they made, they didn't have any resources. If they were delivering a baby, they didn't have anything for the baby. They didn't have car seats. They didn't have the means to care for a baby. So all of those things we needed to do. If we had an orthopedic patient who needed to leave, maybe they needed crutches or some kind of medical equipment, we would need to make sure they had that before they left. So a safe discharge is our requirement as a hospital. If you came a patient here,
Okay.
we would want to make sure you had a safe discharge.
Yep.
We make sure you had all the resources you needed
Legacy
to do
combat
that.
mode,
Or your-
simplify
and your follow-up
combat.
care. You need dialysis, you need some
Which one is it?
your surgery. I think the difference of what we see today and what was there is those patients then.
Show HUD
and
combat
language
mode icon.
barrier
Take it
maybe
off.
too. But the patients today, because our patients now that, the large percentage of them are leaving with under Border Patrol or ICE
Okay.
custody,
Yeah.
that next step of coordinated care, we make
Oh.
sure that they're discharged to them. They're not going to a hotel, or we don't need to find them a hotel.
Well, there it is.
Had to find them a hotel.
We were
before.
finding hotels, we were coordinating.
Who was paying for the hotel?
And it never really bothered me it was there, but it was just
We were
there. But
bidding, yes, because a hotel is much less expensive than a hospital bed, right?
Jeez, all right, yeah.
And for a mom who delivers a baby, if the baby's in the NICU and they have nowhere to go,
Uh-huh.
putting them in a hotel
Yeah, what's up?
allows that connection with the baby and to make sure that the mom is able to.
I don't
see
think he'll
the
notice. I
baby
don't think
and
Living Dev
Okay.
care
feed the
for much for
baby,
that
all
shield.
those kinds of things.
Let me get on the other side and put your eyes in the sun there. I
Thank
can
you.
take
Oh,
it.
that's much
Yeah,
better.
yeah, that's better. I got a lid. Okay. So what I think a lot of people don't understand, definitely overseas, my audience is worldwide,
Right?
but everyone gets health care in America.
Absolutely.
If I have 0 health insurance, and I come in
these ones.
stumbling with a broken leg.
Right.
You
As of right now,
are
selfish.
on my way. You're going to take care of
Correct.
it.
Right.
The emergency room.
Right.
And that is also for migrants coming over the border.
Anybody who comes in that
Any
door.
border, and you're
Yes.
going to go to the most acute care.
I hope you're talking about, I'm assuming you're talking about RuneScape or real life food.
Okay.
If you were in
So,
the-
so if I'm
were
assuming
in
right,
broken toe, if
Le-
somebody
Levy.
comes in with a broken arm,
I'm
even
sure
if
you're
they
talking about
can't pay or
RuneScape
even
food,
if
so
they
yeah, I'll
are
recommend
not US citizens, they are
shellfish.
going- I mean, that care.
Oh, in real life.
Okay.
I looked at I looked at a food GE
Sure,
in the
I
end.
think it certainly created a voice of concern.
He might be saying IRL. It's just I saw food and then it says GE, so I thought I assumed it meant Grand Exchange, but okay, my bad. What would you recommend, honestly, dude? Well, if you're in South America, I would probably would say, well, I don't know what part of South America you're in right now, or Central America. I would probably would say, I don't know, some rice and beans and maybe some tacos. But that's more like Mexican, honestly. I don't know, something, I don't know, I guess something local, I would say, really. I don't know what kind of fruit you're craving for. Anyway.
Across our
Okay.
community.
And that was
Yeah.
frustrating for you guys.
Yeah, it's hard for clinical care providers too, because like I said, to a nurse, when a patient's in a bed, they are
Rice and beans and tacos.
Yeah.
Bro, that's the most Mexican answer I've gotten, but I'll take it. Thank you. Honestly, I mean, there's more, to be honest, bro. I mean, there's enchiladas, there's pozole, there's like tamales, there's. I mean, the only thing I really know is Mexican cuisine shit, man, to be honest, man. So I probably recommend those things. But if you could get something authentic from the Central America, I don't know where you're in, Costa Rica, Salvador, or Nicaragua, or Guatemala. Maybe try pulpas. Pulpas they call it. I don't know. It's like a Salvadorian food, I think. Shit, I fell. But yeah, that would be my answer. So hopefully that was helpful. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's like here. I'll type it in.
You don't want to be. No, you're right. Right. We'll just.
Here, I'll type it in. It's like a El Salvadorian. Yeah, pupusas. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's Salvadorian. I don't know if it's like Guatemalan, but I just know it's something they eat in Central America. But yeah, pupusas.
Because what you would want, right?
Yeah.
When you come in, you don't want us to say, "Well, wait a minute, how about
Right.
this guy? Like,
Right.
how much money did they have first?" And so, our job is to make sure that you're getting the best level of care for your
Yeah.
particular needs at that time.
Okay.
Either that, or I'm gonna trade you shoes, and we're gonna do this.
You want to trade? Okay. You won't be as stylish as you are now. So you're feeling good about the policies here now?
I think we're in a better position. Like,
You're gonna finish all no stuff like bonus XP.
For
Damn, I'm almost out of it now.
particularly a large group of patients like that, in numbers and volumes,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not sustainable for our organization for a long period of time. It's just not sustainable.
So to pay your nurses, keep everything going, keep the lights on,
Yes.
you need to have certain profits. And if you're paying out that much amount of money, that risks the operation, let's say.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to really get agility 70 quickly.
Fair to say?
Of course he does.
He's loved here, huh?
He does. Yes, he is lovely.
Appreciate the hustle, man.
You
I
know what?
appreciate it.
Find some security around
I
here.
know.
I really need to get agility 70 for that last boss
Good? Oh, thank you.
that I need to do for
Thank you.
Necro.
Nice. What's your name?
Nah, I'm out of dummies.
Carolina. Oh, thank you.
Great job, Carolina. Yeah, 'cause it was.
So you saw the first video?
Wait, by the way, can you buy dummies from GE? I try to buy dummies from GE and they don't sell it. Is it strictly like a keys thing? Like you get it or
That time, a few years back? Oh, you weren't? Okay.
no? Can't buy it. Fuck.
Okay.
Felt like it kind of gave me an introduction to the city.
That sucks. I wish you can buy dummies.
Okay. Well, thank you, because without nurses, all be suffering. Because I wouldn't want to rely on the sheriff when it comes to my fixing my.
Not for that. He brings a lot of skills.
Anything else you want to say, Michelle?
Because the
Take
last
care.
6 months, we've incurred.
Got any oddments? I think I used all of it, honestly, guys.
The build charges for those are about 1.5 million.
Yeah, I got
So far,
77
we've
oddments.
56,000.
No keys.
Projected, we'll probably get 181,000 from those.
Or yeah, lamp agility. Yeah, okay.
For the patient.
I use like
So
So
for
that
that,
comes from the federal government.
I think I use like
comes from
8 medium
for
prismatic
because they're coming into Border Patrol, they are typically in custody.
stars.
The migrant story.
So I basically had like 100,000 bonus XP for agility. So I was grinding it. I lamb 99 agility was crazy.
And their stories
Did
that should be heard
you-
because we all pay for it.
Did you earn it? Did you buy
And
it?
it's only through messy, chaotic policies that we got to this point.
Right,
If it was done more orderly, then we wouldn't be in this position.
right, right.
I'm actually curious. Did you get it? Like, did you earn it or over time, or did you just
Great. I'm gonna
you,
take
like
this.
you straight up use real money and buy your way through it?
It's good. It's called a dead kitty. It's a dead kitty.
No money, but I did spend a few bonds with GP. That's fine. As long as you don't, that's respectable. Not that nothing against people who do spend real money to level up in these levels, but I don't know. The moment you do that, when you spend real money to level up in this game, I don't know. It kills the purpose of it, really. I might as well not even play this game at this point if you do that, honestly. 15 millions were cheap. I don't know. I wouldn't call that cheap, really, but. Oh, when Arc was released? Okay. Oh, look at that. 67 agility. What a time. 70, yeah. God worse than Captain Wall climb. I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. How much is it? 57,000. Jesus.
That is. All right, Sheriff. Anything else? Covered a lot today.
We did, and hopefully your viewers, I understand you're here because they all wanted an update.
They want an update.
And hopefully
Yeah.
we give them a true life update on what's going on our border down here in our piece of paradise.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see how much I get XP now since I don't have the
Didn't find me
bonus
anybody
XP.
this time, so it's sad.
That's not bad. 313.
Texas Ranger for those from the 90s. When was that? That was on air in the 90s.
80s,
90s.
90s,
Okay.
yeah,
You're Walker, I'm Trevette.
Yeah, you're Trevette.
Hopefully we don't need to do an update anytime soon.
Well,
But if things change dramatically, let me know.
oh,
Alright, almost 1,000.
I
That's not
appreciate
bad, but
you,
that's
keeping
gonna do
a
well.
pulse on what's
Of course.
going on.
It's important.
Also, there was a feature where during a promo you could get infinite oddments by converting all the rewards on oddments by keys and then repeat the process. But I had
Yeah.
like 300k oddments. Yeah, well, I think I missed that promo, and yeah, unfortunately, I don't have those kind of numbers.
Yeah.
When was this thing like going out? Was this like a couple of years ago, or?
Doing what you do,
I appreciate it.
because to get the message out, it's got to be where they make that decision on what's right and what's wrong. Not us.
Yeah, yeah. Someone can like this.
Yeah, that was crazy. I think it was like
and
2021,
learn something
2020.
different in this training.
Boy, I missed that then.
There's no politics involved in this. It's
That was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And like I said before, the first time, get your politics out of public safety. Let us do our job. You know, if you don't
Yeah.
like the law, change it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we have to do what we have to do.
Well, Sheriff,
All right.
we'll do fist bumps because I got my wrist
Yeah.
taken out. And thanks, guys, for coming on that journey. Until the next one.
What can I play here? Some music. Oh, holy shit. We got decked. I did got a ban for that, but in my defense, I was using an in-game feature that was given to me. It wasn't even a bug, just a good treasure hunter promo. It was like a 5-day ban, I think. Yeah, I've never been banned from RuneScape so far. Oh no, hold on, no, that's a lie. I was banned, but it was for stupid shit, really. I was arguing with a what do you call it? You know those moderators, or I forget what they call it, but it's like those RuneScape people who make sure you know you're following the rules, whatever. But yeah, I got banned for like a day or two for profanity uses.
Now, let's go get those Viet Congs.
Well, if I'm playing kind of Chris Farley type, then Ben is probably playing a young.
That promo is the reason why they added to buy limit key with auto mints.
Kind of tough, macho.
Well, we'll see what's in the future, guys. What keys and mints they have out there.
Mr. Platoon Sergeant. You? Who? You?
Here we go, I'm back, sorry. Well, I think as a writer, it was an idea that he could not get out of his head, and he kept on coming up with good ideas and sort of jokes that hadn't been told before. As a director, I think that the commitment to the film...
Was it unlimited before? I can't recall.
His vision as a writer.
Yeah, this is more like for you guys. Unfortunately, I wasn't playing RuneScape back in the day.
His character is a bit of an egotistical idiot, if you like. He mocks big movie stars having, you know, a bunch of assistants running around them. Well, Ben has a bunch of assistants running around, and I'm sure there's only 2% of that character of Ben's real personality.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while though. I'm not gonna lie. This agility shit.
Had their own particular eye to hell they had to go through. I think for Ben it was the fact that he was wearing all those hats and he had to be quality control and he had to maintain the energy and he had to drive us forward and make us work.
I wish they would just remove it altogether, but that's not gonna happen. So it is what it is. Absolutely. It is what it is, guys. Just make the best out of the situation.
What was the most confusing time for me was when Ben is in character.
Oh, do you have any penguin points? You can buy lamps with penguin points.
Is telling my character to cut.
I don't think I have that. Would that okay? Would that be my bank or would that be like in my currency? Like my currency pouch.
Might be thinking, does Ben Stiller want me to cut, or is it the character in the movie that he's playing, Tom Speedman, saying cut? In which case, if it's the character saying cut, I'm going to say no.
Currency
we're not
pouch.
cutting, we're still filming. But if it's Ben Stiller,
Nah, I don't think I do, guys. Honestly, I just have bonds and all that shit. Well, I don't have bonds. I just have the oddments, and then I've got 1,000 H oddments.
So whenever I say stop, really just stop now. I'm serious. Seriously, fucking stop. We have to stop. That would be the cue for the cameras to actually stop.
Yeah, I don't think I have any of that.
That nearly fried my brain.
Oh, click the gear in the pouch.
What came out was good. You would just have to pay
Oh.
attention, look into the whites of his eyes, and if you see Ben Stiller behind him, then you just tell him if it's Tug Speedman.
Yeah,
It's good that Ben only chooses a small movie to do the acting and the directing and writing on, because if it was much bigger, I don't know how.
I don't think I have any, honestly.
That's the trailer right there.
Dungeoneer tokens I do have, but I got 5,000 marks of war. Yeah, I really don't. They go to the D&D tab.
It's their signature dish. No, they like slimy shrimp. And then we didn't see it. We didn't see any.
Second tab.
Ribs for 5 weeks. Now it's rib day.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I got 3. Is that a lot?
Yeah, he's made it a
Oh no, not really.
kind of fart movies. I mean, I've done some gross out movies myself.
Yeah, I don't know. I never
he's at the
never
next
really.
level
I don't even know how you get those in the first place.
dominating the world of farts.
In the movie, his character does this this movie called The Fatties. It's a big hit where he plays like all these members of the Fat family that have flat.
Let's both unify Italy.
I mean, I've done some gross out movies myself, but Portnoy.
He spent money on expanding a whole
You get one for every penguin you see that's hiding. You can do that to troll vision as well, like those penguins that are disguised as bushes and stuff. Yeah, those little fuckers, in their so-called disguises, which I easily spot them. Yeah. I mean, I've done the Cold War. I don't know. I still have not done the Red October quest. Troll Hunt, which gives XP.
There were roughly 600 murders, and when he left 8 years later, there were approximately 17 murders.
Can do it once per month. Oh. Dear Lord. Can't wait for my concert. The ones I show you when we did the monthlies. Yeah, I remember that when we did those statues. I realized I can do those again, right? Because it's May, right? It's a new month. Yeah, okay. Well, let's go do one then. Oh, I forgot I can teleport from here. I have to go back to the lever. Whoa. Shock and awe. Yeah, I'll go do those things. Honestly, just train here to 69 since troll evasion skills 2. For the highest. Okay, I didn't read that until now. No, click the penguin. Wait, what penguin? Wait, do you have to touch that?
Fiscal crisis, which ended up worsening everything in the city.
We saw immediate population destabilization. The city lost about 1 million people, lost a lot of middle-class families,
Yeah, I gotta talk to Larry.
lost a lot of corporate headquarters. We were the capital of garment manufacturing. Those jobs went to the southern United States, and later they went overseas.
By the time Nixon leaves office, the city loses about 600,000 jobs.
No, absolutely not. Jesus Christ, I'm not trying to die.
The city had two seemingly contradictory problems of housing crisis that
Hopefully, I got a point for that.
for most people to afford, but yet mass-scale abandonment of housing in the South Bronx, in Harlem, in Bushwick.
It was a combination of a fiscal crisis where the city started using capital money to fill operating rooms, which is not sustainable. It was a combination of some social unrest, which led to difficult situations.
Man, where's my dark part being?
And
Yeah, pops in your chat log.
family rental housing homes couldn't make
You already spotted this penguin already. Oh, okay.
There was a wave of abandonment of rentals, and the city, through foreclosure, ended up owning all these buildings.
No, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I might lose my mind doing this for a long time.
So you had this incredible surge in crime. You're doing layoffs because you can't afford to keep the cops on the payroll.
So that was a big one. And then, of course, in the schools, race became the big issue and led to flight of many students from the school system.
There was no single teachers union in New York City. They were split into many disparate groups, and they had no members. In 1968, when we started seeing teacher strikes, well over 95% of them comprised the United Federation of Teachers. And their first fight was to fight back against the notion of giving the communities control of the schools. They wanted to protect their teachers. This led to politically a split between the black community and the teachers union.
Lesson for today. See John. John is the mayor. See John run. See John run Fun City. Isn't this fun? See John run the police. See John run the train. See John run the school. See John run the mayor again. See John run out of town.
I'm actually watching a video about New York in the 90s. Apparently that city was pretty dangerous in the 90s.
Consolidated Edison asking the full cooperation of New York citizens in reducing their consumption of power. We called them up and he said, conserve all the lights you could. What can I conserve? I have no lights at all.
It was a great sense that the city cannot work. It can't be governed. It can't function without all of this inner turmoil.
The battle for the cities will go on. Across this nation, the struggle continues for rational urban.
You know, I thought running a country was pretty hard, but I didn't realize being a mayor of a big city would be so hard as well.
He set up the circumstances for the New York City financial crisis, which will last for a decade. In 1970, the school system in New York City was reorganized. The Central Board of Education was comprised of 7 members. The mayor appointed 2 of those members, and each of the 5 borough presidents appointed a member of the Central Board of Education. So that meant that for the mayor to get anything done at the school system, he or she had to convince 3 borough presidents to get their appointees to go along with it. And they represented various interest groups. Some represented the teachers union, some represented the custodians union.
Yeah, no, he's at midnight. Hope Monday comes fast. Oh, is celebration still going? The Labor Day celebration still going in Malta?
What they were doing, but they realized it wasn't working. And rather than just saying, well, I'm doing the best I can, they decided to try a different kind of business.
Cy Fleeger was that rarest of commodities. He was an actual reformer in a city of educators who claimed to be reformers were disinformers. And Cy's idea was to offer kids in his district, one of the poorest in the city, a choice to learn things in fields that they were interested in. From science.
Oh, I know you told me that last stream was a local feast, but like, I mean, it is like a Labor Day, something related to it, Labor Day holiday.
The kids go to. And we had Benjamin Franklin, the worst high school in the city of New York. Benjamin Franklin graduated 7% of the kids who went into the school. There was tremendous cuts in funding to the school system in the mid-1970s. Over 100 schools were closed. The school day was chopped down by 1 period a day. That's when a lot of the arts and music programs were taken out of the schools. We met with the chancellor and we said we want to take over Benjamin Franklin and we want it closed and we want to create a new high school. And he agreed. this district broke up its middle schools into smaller schools, so you would have like 4 schools within a building. Each school,
No, not a later date. That was only Thursday.
students had to choose to go to these
Okay, but basically it was so like it's like an entire holiday week, is what it was.
Opened the school, and we put Colgan. Colgan was the kind of guy who loved the most difficult kids, so he would let anyone into the school. All the principal had to do was say, "Take this kid." He would take him.
In the 70s, the consensus view was that schools didn't make a difference. So you did not talk about good schools and bad schools. You talked about good kids and bad kids, good students and bad students, or good families and bad families. And so that was an impediment to doing anything.
4 years later, every kid graduated. Every kid went to college. That was a big boost for the concept of creating small schools. So each year, people would come to us with their tales. One guy wanted a sports school, another one wanted a science school, all kinds of schools. We kept expanding until there was 26 alternative schools, all doing well. But 1 or 2 that didn't do well, we either closed them or changed them into a different kind of school.
The fact was they had no authority to do any of this. They just did it. That was the strength of the city's apathy.
Did that get auto banned?
What they were doing, which allowed them to experiment.
What got auto banned?
When you met someone like Cy Flegel, it was like taking a really powerful, wonderful drug. And there were other people like that in other fields that were beginning to show their independence at that point and beginning to think anew.
Behind the famous Manhattan skyline, New York is a mess. $13 billion in debt, bankrupt in all but name, the city that was once the envy of the world is falling to pieces. 300,000 people are out of work, the streets are unclean, and the slum tenements...
I guess so. I just noticed that now.
4 people are murdered here every day. There's a violent crime every 4 minutes.
No, that's Kick. That's gotta be the Kick stream.
When I say that New York is unique in the history of humankind. New York is not a problem. New York is a stroke of genius. How am I doing? Thank you.
Oh, let me try it out because I didn't hear it either.
Was one of the great terms in mayoral history, in that he gave the
Oh,
city
okay, it does work.
spirit. There was
Strange, I didn't hear it.
Generation of baby boomers, and believe it or not, at one point we baby boomers were young, and we were coming back to settle in the city because we didn't want to live the suburban life that our parents had led.
The city looked sort of run down and had, garbage in the street, but the 80s were boom. I mean, the
Strange. It has a sound.
restaurant scene.
For so I have like 2 different overlay sounds. One for Twitch and one for Kick. I don't think I have one for YouTube, but as far as I know, yeah, there's a sound for Kick. It's weird it didn't make a sound.
Everything is open all night. That's,
But yeah, I guess, yeah, welcome Chuck Ruth.
What is the worst thing about New York?
you'll get lights going home. After being out for 24 hours a day, you'll be mugged.
I want to say this. I've alienated, I'm sure, a lot of people, and I've gotten the support of a lot of people.
He was the first Democratic mayor who was willing to say this is really screwed up. As he used to say, I am a sane liberal. And I think he understood that the policies of the last 10 years were insane.
Drawing on what he thought was Lindsay's failures, Ed Koch knew that New York could not continue to spend the way it had. So one of the things he did was really to tighten control over spending and take control of the budget department and every agency.
I didn't see it. You know what? Maybe because I was more focused on the game. I didn't see the logo, but there's a logo. Did you see like an avocado logo?
The city comes out of the fiscal crisis under Koch, but a lot of this has to do with the revival of Wall Street, which carries the city with it.
Ed Koch ran for governor in
No, I guess I do, yeah.
1982, right after he was reelected.
So probably was a bot.
Running for governor, I think, was an important moment in his mayoralty because it severed the relationship that he had with New York. There was a
Weird.
sense that
I
he
didn't
was
realize that thing
born to be
existed on
mayor.
Kick.
When he basically said, "I'm running for governor," a lot of people felt jilted. The love that the city had for him.
Yeah, if you
was
see the
never quite
avocado
the same
dancing,
as
that's
it
like
was
Kick
in that
follow.
first term.
My parents dropped me off in the city. Then a couple of weeks later, they said, "So what are you thinking of living in the city?" So I said, "Well, it's horribly gray, and there's concrete everywhere, and I can't get used to the fact that buildings hit the street, and then there's 9 or 10 feet of ugly sidewalk, and there are no plantings. There's nothing green here." I was there for 2.5 years.
Alright,
During that
I'm gonna go
time,
pick up my
I was
sister
the
really
chairman
quick,
of
but I'll be
Midtown
back
Community
like in a
Board
couple of
at
minutes.
5, which
She's
has
not
to do
from
with
far,
zoning.
so like at 5, I'll go pick up my sister
Park,
really
and
quick.
it's at 42nd Street and 5th to 6th Avenue, so it's exactly at the heart of Midtown. It's the only green space there. So we had muggers. Every entrance to the park had a different drug market run by a different person. I was chosen by the Rockefellers to fix this mess. It was very difficult to take the space back from the criminals and the drug sellers.
Alright,
I
we're
could go
halfway
do
there
it
to
myself
a
the second
69.
month of work, and it felt dangerous. Nobody knew why
And
I
I
took the
busted my
job.
shit.
Parks, if they have graffiti and they smell
Oh, you're good, man. You're good, dude.
feces all over, and
If you do hop off, I mean, have a good night then, and hopefully I see you on the next stream. But I'll be hopping off soon anyway. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to get 69 on this thing. Well, 68 or 69, and then I'm gonna go to Chicago for that concert. That's at 9 o'clock. But I'm gonna go see a friend really quick.
You did not walk into Bryant Park in broad daylight unless you were trying to score some drugs, and that was just the rule. That was not part of your New York City. And
So I may not be able to stream tonight, probably honestly, because the concert's like until like goes all the way till like 2 a.m. So yeah, I might just like get home and go to sleep from there. But yeah, thanks. I'll enjoy the concert. Appreciate it.
That this park was now theirs.
By putting activity in the park, sweeping up the litter, removing the graffiti.
2 a.m. stream is gonna be wild.
things we had the money to repair.
No, that's probably crazy. I'll probably do like a short little stream. I don't know. We'll see, but I'll probably be too tired from driving all the way back from Chicago or taking the train from Chicago.
There were 600 homeless people unserved in and outside the terminal. Litter that was ankle deep by the end of the day. Graffiti everywhere. Dark streets. Koch people gave the okay to set up on a much larger basis than had existed before a business improvement district. Covered 50 blocks or so.
Go to bed. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go to bed after the concert. I'm not doing a stream after the concert. I'll be way too tired, honestly. But I'll be on in the morning, or tomorrow I'm gonna do a long stream tomorrow for sure. Maybe an 8 or 10 hour stream. I haven't done that in a while.
Privately provide all the things the city wasn't doing. Litter pickup all day long so the streets were clean. Removing the graffiti right away.
Oh no, well sure, I'll talk about it. I'll let you know. It's like an EDM and indie rock kind of concert thing. So they're playing all like the famous guys, like not the famous guys, but like all the famous like bands like Tammy Impala, The Killers. Shit, I'm trying to think of it, maybe Calvin Harris, stuff like that.
Others have been modeled after by now we've got 76 of them in New York City.
1986, Mayor Koch announced $5.4 billion, an unprecedented amount for any local government over 10 years, to renovate or build 252,000 units of housing. And he was responding to what was the extraordinary extent of the abandonment in these neighborhoods. And every mayor since Koch through today has really continued the arc of what Mayor Koch started. It was focusing on renovating abandoned city-owned housing and financing more affordable housing to create units.
You saw graffiti, you saw a lot of the drugs, you saw like this level of dinginess. But then it was New York, right?
Ah,
I mean, we were all used to it. That was a way of life. And then, when you thought that it could not get any worse, crack came.
Peaches and cream.
This has reached epidemic proportions.
It is a crack epidemic, which police say is causing an increase in murder and other violent crime.
It took a nosedive. You saw individuals transform into zombies.
I believe they should impose death penalty as an option to judge and jury, and I believe they should use it.
Mayor Koch is asking the federal government for help in this war against drug and a federal death penalty for drug dealers.
People were very angry and very upset about crime. And throughout the Koch years, several high-profile crimes shook the city. In 1984, we had the Bernard Goetz incident. Sort of a mild-mannered looking radio repairman shot 4 guys on the subway because he said they were threatening him. The city basically flocked to his defense. He was found not guilty of attempted murder and just found guilty of carrying an illegal handgun.
And people were like, wow, they felt sorry for him. And when they heard his story that he was previously robbed, people were fed up.
People have to take the law into their hands. I think he did the right thing.
I think he was right. People just getting fed up being ripped off.
Bro, I'm looking at some New York documentary shit. And I'm literally looking at New York subway cars. My God, they're like so much graffiti in there. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, they're not as bad as they are today, but I don't know. It looks like some Gotham subway, like where you get mugged and shit. I don't know if I can pull it up because then YouTube, well, not YouTube, but then Twitch is like, you can't show that. That's copyright strike, something like that. But I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, but yeah, they're like interviewing people from like the 90s or 70s about New York public safety and how bad it was back then.
To do what he had to do, self-defense.
A woman jogging in New York Central Park last Wednesday.
Oh, you guys can hear it here.
And nearly beaten to death.
In 1989,
I'm not sure. Let me know if you guys hear it or not. I mean,
Central Park
you guys are welcome to hear it. I don't want to go too high in the volume, otherwise it'll like drown my voice.
And beating people up. One woman, a jogger, was attacked. She was raped. This woman was beaten and left for dead. At the time, it horrified people.
To understand is to forgive. I don't want to understand what motivates someone to engage in this kind of horror. I want, rather than to understand him, I want him punished.
Race was always in the shadow of Ed Koch's mayoralty. He used phrases like poverty pimps and poverticians that many in the black community felt were stigmatizing. And so he always had a tenuous relationship with black New Yorkers.
There was a misapprehension of what the black community actually wanted. Black politicians at that point represented the anger of their constituents, which was legitimate anger. Racism surely existed, but they didn't also represent the interests of their constituents. Part of the tension was generated by Ed Koch because he wasn't going to kowtow to black extremists.
Koch was willing to speak out, but the more he spoke out, the more racial tension and friction that he created. And so therefore, at the end of his term, you know, people had kind of had it with the combative Koch mode of governing.
He's the most annoying person. Oh, yeah. No, good answer. Right on, good answer. Survey says Ed Koch, yeah, the most annoying person in New York. Absolutely. See the cover of New York Magazine? Great cover.
Okay, well, make a face like Ed Koch.
No, he doesn't.
Or just make a funny face.
It's that grin with no hair. You know what I mean? It's that whole thing with no hair and the whole grin, that kind of shit-eating. I can't say that here. What's his cable? Sure you can. Why not? Shit-eating grin. It's like all that. Yeah, I'm gonna rob you blind. I'm gonna kick you out of this city and kick you out of your apartments. I'm gonna kill you.
So you go forward to the end of the 80s, the early 90s, budget stabilized, jobs somewhat stabilized, but still, what do you do about this severe violent crime problem that no one had been able to address in 2 decades?
There are people who think I'm acerbic and sarcastic and too New Yorkish. I'm proud to be New Yorkish.
Ed Koch ran for a 4th term, but he lost.
Rudolph Giuliani, who lives with an 18-hour working day, a 6-day working week, and now several death threats in his in-tray.
Rudy Giuliani was one of the great federal prosecutors who does a great deal to bring down the mafia.
It is very, very important that there be a general rule, and one that is well known in this country, that if you violate the law, whether it's insider trading or tax evasion or fraud or bribery, a so-called white-collar crime, the overwhelming general rule is that you go to prison.
Rudy Giuliani had made a big name for himself prosecuting white-collar criminals in the 80s with all of the stock manipulations and so forth. He famously went into
I should probably get ready to pick up my
major
sister.
houses and had people arrested, and perp walked out.
Oh, I
He
gotta
had a
warm my
real
car.
flair for publicity.
When I decided for the first time to run for mayor, almost unanimously, my friends told me I was crazy. I didn't get to run against Koch. Dinkins beat him. Changed the whole nature of the race because now I was running against the first African-American nomination of the Democrat Party.
But Giuliani is just not a very effective politician, retailer, wholesaler, or anyway. As for my own vote that year, I couldn't vote for Dinkins, but I didn't know if I wanted to vote for Giuliani. For all his talents, and he's enormously talented, enormously intelligent. He's a terrible politician. It seemed like he was running for sheriff. He hadn't mastered the issues involved in governing New York.
We lost by 2%. Of course, I was sad losing. I remember Senator All Inspector said, you should look at this race as you have money in the bank. And the question is how you're going to spend it. And I recommend not spending it running for mayor again because it's impossible. Republicans just can't get elected.
My father remembers when he was young, talking with neighbors who themselves remembered the days of slavery. Tonight, we forge a new link in that chain of memory.
David Dinkins was a real gentleman and played by the rules as far as conventional politics go. But he really had no understanding of the forces that were going on inside the city at that time.
David Dinkins was known for his tennis playing. He came out of the Harlem political machine.
How much for left for 68? Not that much, really. It's almost like
He was elected with high
9,000
expectations from the public.
or almost
He wanted David to do something about
8,000
racial
now.
tensions in the city, which were very high.
I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna go pick up my sister real quick. I'll be right back.
They wanted to do something about the rising crime in the city. The city's still having a hard time.
David Dinkins, I think, gets a bad rap. He was not a
I'll be
very
right back.
effective mayor, and almost immediately
Probably in
after
5 minutes or so. But in case I don't see you, have a good night. In fact, son. I will continue to stream for a little bit afterwards, but tonight I have to have a big one concert. But I'll be right back, guys, in 5 minutes. You know, I should probably log out for this one because I don't want to get killed in the middle of nowhere. Just in case. I'm back. Real quick, I gotta make a phone call real quick. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Cómo te fue? Alright. Oh, gotcha. How's Chewy? Yeah, you're fine. That's not a big deal, honestly. So, let me know when you're getting close by, and then do you want to like chill for a bit here, or we'll go from here to his house? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. All right, cool. I'll see you then. Bye. All right, bye. Okay. So I'll probably around 6 then, guys. So that means another half an hour of streaming then. Fun. Alright, where were we? So they're affected, son, or any of you guys right now?
After David Dinkins was sworn in as mayor, he was confronted with a series of racial incidents, starting with the Red Apple boycott.
On Church Avenue, there was a Korean fruit stand, a place that I shopped in a whole number of times. Sonny Carson, who was a less glib version of Al Sharpton, took advantage of a situation in which a African-American woman got into a fight with the Korean greengrocers. Sonny Carson had been shaking down businesses. He tries to create a boycott of the Red Apple. Outside, Carson's people are shouting racist
The
slogans.
fuck?
The city is in an uproar. Dinkins refuses
Twice in a
to
row,
intervene
really?
and bring this nonsense to a halt. Eventually, Dinkins intervenes, but the sense of an incompetent who will dawdle, who's unable to act on behalf of racial tolerance, sticks with Dinkins. To be fair to Dinkins, he's a product of the old Board of Estimate.
The fight had gone on to abolish the Board of Estimate and to replace it with a separation of powers system of government. And that was really the brainchild of Peter Vallone.
The big thing was that I was elected speaker by the overwhelming plurality of one vote. So as you can see, I was very popular at the time. I got elected in 1974, and I said, there's something wrong with the city. There's nobody in charge. It's only borough presidents that are running the city.
The way it worked was each borough president got one vote. The mayor, the controller, and the then city council president, because they were elected citywide, they each got 2 votes. So a total of 11, and it was always a scramble to assemble a majority. And it was really the super legislature. It rendered the city council pretty unimportant.
8 executives running the city. They only care about their boroughs. They don't care about police citywide. They care about police in their borough. They don't care sanitation citywide. They don't care about anything citywide as long as they had their borough working.
So there was a lot of deal making. If the city council president wanted to fight with the mayor, then the mayor would have to go and try to get the Board of Estimate vote from the borough president in Staten Island.
That's fine, bro.
Or try to make a coalition.
Get some
that
sleep,
way.
Domi. Get you up. I appreciate you for staying up and watching my stream. Honestly, it means a lot. Honestly, effective son. Go get some rest. I'll talk to you later.
Before the United States Supreme Court, saying it's unconstitutional because how could small Staten Island with 300,000 votes have the same vote as Brooklyn with 2.5 million votes?
Under the constitutional principle of one man, one vote, it was thrown out as unconstitutional, and a lot of the power went to the city council.
Peter led the charge to bring the city council into the modern age. As a result of that, the city council got the full legislative power of the city to make the laws, the power of the purse to do the budget, the power
Alright,
to do
see you tomorrow.
land
Effective son.
use,
Have a good night.
council had never had before.
Conversely, it also gave the mayor more power because he didn't have to make these deals with the borough presidents.
To eliminate the Board of Estimate was the beginning of the liberation of the mayoralty and the beginning of the city's return to effectiveness as a governmental structure.
Dinkins didn't know what to do with it. He was a creature of the Board of Estimate. He grew up under the Board of Estimate, and he didn't do much with it.
In 1989, I was approached by George Kelling, co-author of the Broken Windows article with James Wilson, who were consulting with the Transit Authority here in New York. They asked if I might want to consider becoming chief of the transit police in New York City. New York City at that time had 3 police departments: transit police, housing police, and the city police. They looked the same, but they were different departments at that time. So I came. April of 1990, I was appointed chief of the transit police.
We had 26 murders on the subways in 1990. That had remained pretty consistent for a decade. And the Times would say, you're pretty safe as long as you're not walking through some of the long passageways in Manhattan, as long as you're sitting in the middle car. This is as good as it's going to get.
The subway, like taking a walk down into Dante's Inferno. The smell, filth, a lot of the turnstiles were disabled. Aggressive begging, people coming on to the train everywhere, and they actually had cardboard cities on the end of the platforms.
Bratton pioneered this idea that if we address small crimes in the subway system, we can prevent bigger crimes in the subway system. So they started looking at who was jumping over the turnstiles and who was beating the fare, and found out that a disproportionate number were also wanted for violent crimes, or they were carrying guns or knives into the subway system. So if you apprehend people beating the fare, you can prevent violent robberies and murders in the subway system. And within just months of this, the Times was saying, okay, crime is down by double digits.
And it worked. In the space of less than 2 years that I was here as transit police, crime went down by a very significant amount.
On Labor Day weekend, 1990, a young fellow by the name of Brian Watkins with his family had come from Utah. They were waiting to take a train.
Alright,
and a bunch
68
of thugs
agility.
cut the father's pants, they took his wallet out, kicked the mother when she tried to stop them. Young Brian Watkins and his brother thought to fight these guys off, but of course they had a knife, and they stabbed poor Brian Watkins in the heart. And even though he was stabbed, he tried to chase these guys until he died on a step.
Monday morning, after Watkins is stabbed to death, I come in and I've said, Peter, we're going to lose the city. We have to do something about it. He says, what do you think we should do? I said, we have to increase the strength of the police department, not just what you call head count, but patrol strength as well, actually on the city, to restore the reality and the perception of public safety. If we don't do that, we're going to lose the city. Peter said, how do we do that? What we're going to do is we're going to have a piece of legislation having a mandatory minimum number of cops by 6,000. And Peter said, can I force the mayor and the police commissioner to do these hires? I said, you can't do it without a referendum. If we do the referendum, we'll win, because public sentiment is for safe streets. People are scared to death.
The City Council in New York is a relatively new institution. in the way it's formed now with the city council speaker. And Brian Watkins' murder was one of the first major challenges confronting the city council in the post-Board of Estimate era. With their new powers, they were able to work directly with the mayor to pass crime legislation.
I said, Mayor Dinkins, there's no longer a Board of Estimate. You just have to talk to us, the city council. We want to pass a law. And after a great amount of difficulty, with every single legislature, we got the cop within 2 years.
The name of the program that was evolved from these discussions was Safe Streets, Safe City. It was a Peter Vallone initiative. We needed the support of the city council members. We got it. We needed the support of the legislative leaders up in Albany Assembly and the state Senate. We got it. We need the governor's support. We got it. And the program started in the beginning of 1991. Quite candidly, Mayor Dinkins was not enamored with the idea that we were forcing him to hire more police. His comment to me is, "What are you doing to me?"
Advisors to Mayor Dinkins never really got into this idea. This was not his core constituency, they felt. He had to do more the social things, and he's using up this money. So they backloaded the hires, I think, in a belief that if Dinkins was reelected, he wouldn't have to carry through on his plan. It came back to backfire on him because crime was still up. The largest class in the police academy that I can recall, 2,800 police officers were hired in August of 1993. So guess what? They graduated in January of 94 with Mayor Giuliani's arm around them. So he got all the credit for the 2,800 cops. Instead of moving those hires, let's say 6-8 months earlier, Mayor Dinkins could have gotten some credit for that, but of course he didn't.
The major event of the David Dinkins years that's really stuck out for everybody is the Crown Heights riots. Now, Crown Heights is an area in central Brooklyn inhabited by a lot of African Americans, and also it's the center of the Lubavitch Hasidic community. The leader of that community would regularly have motorcades that would drive through the city, and people sort of took offense to the way in which they would sometimes speed. One day, a member of the motorcade supposedly was speeding through a red light, lost the curb, and hit a little 5-year-old boy and pinned him against a building, and he died.
It's angry and ugly, and it's dangerous. An Hasidic man hit by a brick on Eastern Parkway. A cop assigned today to protect the mayor suffers a fractured leg. People who observed the attack taunting him as he's wheeled to an ambulance.
You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around.
What erupted was the worst anti-Semitic violence in American history. It went on for 3 days.
Whole areas of Jewish neighborhoods were burnt and stores burnt out. And the police were not terribly aggressive in intervening into those problems.
Because passions are running so high, there is no way the community can yet come together. The mayor today sought to diffuse the tension by talking to young people, and he took some heat.
I myself personally worked hard on your campaign, and I'm, right now, I don't know what to say, all right? I'm like, real sorry that I did it.
I have been here, and I'm surprised that not one of you would say, oh, but he's been here. I'm surprised that not one of you. You ought to know it, and it's unfair for you to get on the media and say, the mayor ought to come here.
Meanwhile, the Reverend Al Sharpton and Alton Maddox are demanding the arrest of the Hasidic driver. They say if he's not arrested, they will hunt him down themselves.
In a day and night of screaming sirens so far, 35 people have been injured, 17 of them police officers, and we've just learned in the last 45 minutes that 2 cops were shot on Schenectady Avenue, not badly hurt, taken to Kings County Hospital, and within of the last 2 hours, 1 person was killed.
Culminated with the murder of an Australian rabbinical student who was visiting, who was stabbed to death.
I was asked to come in on the 3rd day. I put in the tactics and strategies that brought it under control.
Mayor Dinkins received a lot of criticism for not stopping the violence. His idea was to let the people let off some steam
The assumption of the Dinkins years was that the police are only reactive, and if they are proactive, that will be necessarily racist. So it's best to just let the anarchy flow, and then we'll hope we can come in after the fact. Well, of course, that is a specious assumption, because every time that you let anarchy loose without trying to pull it back, you're sending the message that no one is in control, and it is very hard to reverse course.
Dinkins couldn't care less. He knew what he knew, and he knew that crime was a function of underlying social conditions. The idea that policing could have an effect on crime was simply alien to him.
That's when the people of the city lost confidence that David Dinkins could bridge these racial divisions and lead the city forward.
In the early 90s, I was at a meeting of people who wanted to reform New York, and in the course of the discussion, what came up, a guy named Bill Clinton, who I never heard of, was going to be giving a speech on welfare reform. Would I be interested in coming? I said, sure.
We basically believe that we require a partnership between government and the private sector and the education sector, and that we shouldn't be giving out rights to people without requiring them to assume certain responsibilities.
I'm just absolutely stunned. He's brilliant. He gets everything right. Who is this guy? I came home, I told my wife, this guy's going to be president of the United States.
There were a group of us who saw Bill Clinton coming, and I guess you'd call us moderate Democrats, new Democrats, whatever. And I think a lot of us saw that there had to be changes in the way government worked. Bill Clinton was someone who understood that we had to break through the paralysis that excessive union rules and industrial age bureaucracy had caused. And Bill Clinton ran against the activist base of the Democratic Party on all of those issues. People were ready for an enlightened, moderate, liberal form of government.
The early 90s was an exciting period because people are fed up with the failure, both on the federal level and on the local level. People are open-minded, they're willing to talk to each other across the aisle. And so it was an air of practicality to the discussions. Beginning to think, well, maybe there's some possibilities for New York.
There were problems that began to happen when the industrial age ended, blue-collar jobs left, and the information age began. And the Manhattan Institute was one of the first places that began looking in an academic way at problems like addiction, education, crime, family structure. These were things that needed to be looked at.
The number one issue was unquestionably the crime and disorder crisis in the city. And so that attracted people who wouldn't necessarily be considered conservatives, like George Kelling, the criminologist, Fred Siegel himself.
I considered myself ex-left, and I thought that the Democratic Party had moved very significantly to the left. In fact, I remember that being part of a Manhattan Institute roundtable with Fred Siegel and Elaine Kmark from the Progressive Policy Institute. And we were talking about how difficult it was to reduce welfare rolls. And Elaine just said, what we're talking about here is that there are a whole bunch of social workers who are afraid they're going to lose their jobs. And it was simple truths like that that made the Manhattan Institute a place where truth, not ideology, dwelled.
We tried bigger government, and it didn't work. With so much money flushing around the system, people had no incentive to change. At the same time, cities in particular, as political entities, need resources. So it wasn't a question of cutting back on resources as well. We knew it was just a question of getting the incentives right for people to do what they were supposed to do in the first place. In the 1990s, what we wanted to do was see if we could apply those ideas to affect change in our own hometown. The City Journal was the vehicle through which we thought we would talk about public policy in New York City. So we thought a magazine that applied our principles to urban questions would be the most effective way to go. The collection of people that actually was the brain trust of the Manhattan Institute were all ex-Great Society liberals who realized it didn't work, and City Journal provided the only forum for them to report on why it didn't work. The great thing about the people that we brought in was that they weren't theoreticians, they were practitioners. So they did excellent journalism in telling people how things really worked. So the City Journal was launched in 1990, right at the beginning of the decade.
It was time for reformers to react against liberalism.
David Dinkins wants to be re-elected as the first black mayor of the city he calls the Gorgeous Mosaic. Rudolph Giuliani is the tough lawyer who sees a city on the verge of collapse.
Well, the major advantage that Giuliani had when he ran for election in 1993 for the second time was that the city had experienced 4 years of David Dinkins.
You know, the difference between the first campaign and the second was Giuliani ran on his record as district attorney, but that really didn't give him a kind of operating philosophy of government.
I knew crime. I didn't know the budget. I didn't know the environment. I didn't know welfare. I didn't know transportation. I didn't know procurement. I didn't know what I didn't know. So I said, now we're going to do it differently. I did a 18-month seminar in which I called experts in to teach me. The first one was Andrew Pullman. He gave us a 2.5-hour lecture on the housing problem. Several people from the Clinton administration, people from the former Bush administration came and helped us. Henry Kissinger came and gave us a lecture. And then what we would do after the lecture, we would get together and we'd play a game, which is, if we were in charge, what would we do? And then we'd write it out. Here's what we would do.
We would start meeting with our scholars, come to our events, and participate in our conferences. The story is that he had an aide who saw a copy of City Journal in a bookstore and said, oh, Rudy's got to actually read this, which he brought to him, and that was how the first meeting was set up. And he really taught himself in those 4 years, you know, what are the underlying problems and what are some possible solutions? And I think he articulated that in the second campaign, which allowed people to see a way out.
He narrowly beats Dinkins. And the reason he beats Dinkins is because Staten Island wants to secede.
City Council was made more of a traditional legislature, and the Board of Estimate was abolished, and they lost power on the City Council due to proportional representation, which assigned Staten Island only 3 of 51 seats. Facing being the city's garbage dump, new fees on the ferry, and just feeling marginalized, they voted to become independent. Giuliani promised to acknowledge Staten Island's concerns, and high turnout led Giuliani to win the election by only 3,500 votes.
Giuliani comes into office, and the talk is he can't last. The powers that be in New York will get rid of him.
I get elected. The advantage we had is we had a game plan for everything. Doesn't mean it was the right game plan.
No, I think
a
she
lot of
can
them had to be
agree with sister.
readjusted when you got to the reality of what you could do and couldn't do.
Rudy Giuliani runs up against the idea that New York is ungovernable. He knows vastly more than he knew in '89. He's ready to govern, and he's ready to take on the city's vested interests.
My campaign chairman, Arnie Burns, said to me, do it as a one-term mayor. Say, I'm going to do everything I want, everything I believe is necessary, no matter how unpopular it is. And if it works out, wonderful, I'll get a second term. If it doesn't, I can always live with myself. So that's what I did.
The Democratic Party was controlled or influenced by all of these other groups. So they didn't have as much swinging room as Rudy did. Rudy had no inherent allegiances. He was just going to win or lose based on his performance.
The Speaker of the City Council was Peter Valone. My first day in City Hall, I said to Beth, give me the Speaker's number. That I have a couple of bagels and coffee. I'd like to come over and see him. I haven't had breakfast yet. And she says, well, do you want him to come over to you? I said, no, I don't want him to come over. I want to come over there. I walk in, I say hello to Peter, I sit down, and he says, do you know this is the first time the mayor's ever been in this office? I had 2 Democrat mayors, Koch and Dinkins, never came in here. I said, I know how religious a Catholic you are, so you have to be in this because you want to help people. I think we can sit down, and we can put aside the political stuff just between the two of us,
We can figure out what we can agree on, and we can implement it. If we can't compromise it, we'll debate it. But I bet if we do that, we can do a lot.
Peter was introducing him not only to the members of the council, but to the staffs of the various agencies and departments, to the political leadership of the parties, to the community groups, to the trade associations, to the lobbyists, to the unions. We broadened Rudy's horizons. And Mayor Giuliani, to his credit, was ready, willing, and able to have those conversations, to meet with these people, and to partner up when he could. And Peter was instrumental in that.
He saw that I want to work with him. I don't want to work against him. And if we're going to make this work, Rudy, we'll work together. And that's what we did.
They put literally red phones on their desks. And the only one who could answer the phone on the mayor's side was the mayor. And the only one who could answer in the speaker's office was the speaker. And they were constantly talking and meeting.
We met almost every Thursday. He'd have a list, I'd have a list of the things that we thought we needed. And we would begin by matching the list, and where we overlapped, we get it done. Where we didn't, we try to work it out.
We were always looking to build consensus if we could. That's not to say we didn't have political fights and litigation fights. In fact, Rudy interviewed me for a judgeship, and he said, Richard, he said, tell me about your litigation experience. I said, Mr. Mayor, other than the 20 cases I had against you, and he laughed. But that was the kind of relationship we had.
The Clinton era was marked by a recognition in a way that we hadn't seen really since the 1920s, that the business of America is business. Essentially, the idea that Wall Street was it.
Yeah, I don't think you read the message.
Opening to China, huge tech boom, all of that happened under Clinton. And New York City profited handsomely from this approach. And Giuliani was both a beneficiary and a player. Now, it may seem like these are very different political figures. However, there is a kind of similarity in the sense of, I guess what you'd call like, the neoliberal consensus. This idea that we can't go forward in the same way.
Clinton was quite vocal about the crime problem and proponents of welfare reform. So those were two key areas right there where there was overlap with what Giuliani was trying to do in New York.
During the past 9 months, we have moved quickly and steadily to implement the toughest, smartest crime bill in American history.
Bill Clinton passes in '94 the crime bill. Giuliani not only helps lobby for it, he goes across the country to help sell it. So you have the Republican prosecuting crime-fighting mayor in New York working with the Democratic baby boomer president to sell an anti-crime initiative across the country. Those are the sorts of things that were happening because crime was so big.
New York is in the middle of its worst recession for 50 years, but the economy isn't the key issue here. Nor is it homelessness, AIDS, drugs, or the state of the roads. None of them compare with the one issue today that obsesses New Yorkers: crime.
Giuliani begins a search for police commissioner, and he made it clear that he would be potentially interested in naming me as commissioner based on my success in the subway system, and that I would be his choice for police commissioner effective January of 1994. What Rudy and I both shared was a belief that the city could be made safer, be made better. To take back the streets of New York, in some respects, was like taking Europe back from the Nazis, that it was going to require an all-out assault.
One of the early priorities he had was to create a larger police department by merging the 3 police departments that existed in New York.
We acquired the housing police. We acquired the transit police because they're chasing the same criminal. The guy may do 2 muggings in the subway and 3 muggings on Times Square. So the transit police are looking for the same guy that NYPD is looking for, and they don't talk to each other. By doing that, we went up to a 41,000 person police department.
Bill Bratton, embarked on this famous experiment in policing called broken windows policing.
George Kelling and James Q. Wilson came up with the theory of broken windows in 1984, saying if you have a window that is broken and it is not fixed, then you will have 2 broken windows, then you'll have 3 broken windows. At some point, you have a neighborhood that is very, very, very hard to recover.
The modern policing did not begin with capturing criminals, it began with maintaining order. And Bratton was very much attuned to this.
Quality of life offenses are as important as serious crime to be addressed. The basic mission for which the police exist is to prevent crime and disorder. 5 most important words in law enforcement. To deal effectively with crime, you're also going to have to simultaneously deal with disorder.
A healthy neighborhood polices itself in the sense that if you've got a neighborhood with healthy foot traffic, where everyone is employed, where every restaurant and retail space is full, if someone comes along and they break a window, that window will be immediately fixed. It's only when the neighborhood has stopped being healthy that it is not immediately fixed. So once you have gotten to the point where the police are in charge of this, you are already at a point of failure.
In the 70s and 80s, police moved away from dealing with disorder on the streets and instead focused on responding to crime. And we didn't deal with quality of life crime at all.
The way policing had worked had been getting police off the streets and into police cars, answering radio calls for serious crimes, rapes, murders, bank robbers.
I go to community meetings, I'm armed to the teeth with all my crime statistics, where it was happening, who was doing it. And people in the neighborhoods didn't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the prostitute in their doorway. They wanted to talk about the abandoned car that was never towed away, about the graffiti, about the gang drinking on the corner. People were as concerned, or maybe more concerned, by what they were seeing every day versus the crime that they would read about. Most of them were not personally experiencing. What was basically creating the fear was a phenomenal amount of disorder. The presidential commissions, a number of the other commissions that had studied all the violence, the race violence, felt that the role of police was to respond to crime while society figured out what to do about what they thought were the real causes of crime: poverty, racism, unemployment. My belief was the cause of crime is people. And by focusing on the small things, oftentimes we disrupted bigger things from happening. We started to focus on stopping and arresting perpetrators. What did we find? 1 out of 7 were wanted on warrants for other offenses. 1 out of every 20, 21 were carrying a weapon, marked cutters on up to using machine guns. So by going after quality of life, we're also having an impact on crime.
Criminals do not specialize. Criminals are omnivorous. They are multitaskers. They break one law, they break another law. There's a great chain of being in criminality between the low level and the high level. It is all connected. And even if it wasn't, even if Fair Beavers did nothing worse, it still would be essential to stop it because it sends the message that no one is in control.
These guys from Brooklyn that wanted to go to Manhattan and rob, they wouldn't pay the fare, they'd hop the turnstile. And they're bringing the tools of their trade with them, the illegal firearm. You stop, you capture that person, and you're saving a shooting, who knows how many robberies, how many lives that are being saved. And we saw that. Those numbers came down dramatically. Violent crime, way down.
Giuliani in the first year really left me alone in many respects. Made it quite clear his goal was crime and disorder. He got it. He really understood the importance of the look of things. So one of the things he did right off the bat with his sanitation commissioner was clean up all the sanitation trucks. He basically had them all repainted and they were clean again. And he kept them clean. You know, he was very focused on little things. He had his vision, he had his goals, he had his strategies, but he was also very focused on the tactics.
He goes after the squeegee men. They were as annoying as hell and in many ways threatening. People felt like there was nothing you could do about it, that it was really quite hopeless. They seemed to be everywhere. And so Rudy told Bill Bratton to make this the priority, is to get these squeegee men off the street and in jail if that needs to be the case. And lo and behold, they found out there weren't that many squeegee men. There were maybe about 75 of these guys making life a living hell. But it was one of those very visible things that people noticed.
Another thing we did is adopt a highway program that allowed companies basically to adopt parts of a highway and pay for additional cleanup services. We wanted to make sure the entrances to the city were clean. It was a small thing to do, but again, it changed people's perception of coming into the city.
The department was not effective dealing significantly with crime. Uniformed officers were not authorized or allowed to make drug arrests. And so when the woman looking out a second floor window would call the drug dealers on the corner now and then see those uniformed cops drive by, what'd she assume? They're on the take.
So when Bratton came in, he said, you do what you have to do. You are now allowed to arrest people for narcotics.
Giuliani provided the authorization, as had been authorized in the subway, to move forward in a sense. If we didn't get our arms around this problem, we're never going to make the city safer.
I had to clean up Times Square. In order to clean up Times Square, I got to get rid of the drug dealers. I got to get rid of the murderers. I got to get rid of the robbers. I knew how to do that. For example, we got rid of the muggers by putting cops on horseback so they could see into the crowd. We put undercover police officers in the crowd, called the anti-crime unit, but they dress like you and me or like the crowd. And we'd give them walkie-talkies, and the guy on the horseback would say, to your right, 20 steps, there's a pickpocket. See? Guys, I got it. Next pickpocketing, he grabbed. There's a purse snatcher. There's a harasser. There's a possible rapist. He's dragging a woman. It took about 3 or 4 months. Crime was down like 50%. Then it went down 75%. And then it turned out to be no crime.
Giuliani had this real heavy focus on getting rid of the vice conditions in Times Square.
Giuliani essentially tore down a lot of the old shops, and he brought the Walt Disney Company in to build a store.
There's a purse snatcher. There's a harasser. There's a possible rapist. He's dragging a woman. It took about 3 or 4 months. Crime was down like 50%. Then it went down 75%. And then it turned out to be no crime.
Giuliani had this real heavy focus on getting rid of the vice conditions in Times Square.
Giuliani essentially tore down a lot of the old shops, and he brought the Walt Disney Company in to build a store. You know, you go there and it's literally just families from the Midwest going to eat at Red Lobster.
There was a strong belief that Rudy had that you have to reclaim the public spaces in New York. It involves cleanliness, keeping crime under control, getting drug dealers off the corner. It means cleaning up graffiti.
2 a.m. in the 70s and the 80s, you couldn't walk through here, man. Sex, drugs.
And now?
It's wonderful. I think it's...
That's Giuliani.
Well, he did it.
Broken Windows policing saw a pretty immediate improvement.
More black people are alive today because Rudy Giuliani was mayor. During the entire time of his tenure in office, shootings of black people continued to drop and drop and drop because the police weren't focused on looking for black people and throwing them into jail. They were looking at public disorder and trying to dissipate it before it evolved into something more serious.
The statistics can't tell you, however, is what's going on behind the scenes of the once infamous New York Police Department. It's a fundamental overhaul of the police force as an organization, and a complete rethink of how best to wage war on the criminal, because war and the philosophy of battle is very much part of the new corporate-style thinking.
In 1994, Jack Maple, who was my Deputy Commissioner for Crime Control Strategies, probably one of the most brilliant people I've ever known in dealing with crime issues, and Louis Anamone, who was Chief of Patrol, effectively created this system of accountability called CompStat, where they required every precinct to have crime maps and to track daily where crime was developing and to do something about it.
So CompStat means computer statistics, and all it is a recounting of each of the 7 major crimes in each of the precincts in the city on a daily basis, so we can get a good picture. How are you doing this week? How are you doing for the past month? And how are you doing year to date?
So CompStat has 4 basic components to it. Timely, accurate intelligence. Gather up your crime information every day. rapidly respond to those patterns and trends, and precinct captain was expected to know about it and talk about it and what he was doing about it. Effective tactics were what you're doing about it wasn't working. If not, why not?
So we're sitting in a room. I'm at one end with Jack Maple alongside me, some other chiefs on the other side, and we're discussing crime. Behind him or her was a map of the area that they were responsible for. And you'd see the red robbery dots. And then you'd ask, now put up the complaints about narcotic activity. You'd see some right around that area where the robbery dots were. And then you'd ask, what about our shooting incidents in this precinct? Put those up on the map. And lo and behold, they're also in that same little bit of an area of the precinct. So I would ask that person standing at the podium, tell me a little bit about what you see on that screen.
Going to a concert, so yeah, thanks for watching again, and
why haven't we called
yeah, I'm gonna skedaddle,
How many
go do some stuff, real life
we have
stuff.
here? Are
Alright
these
guys,
robberies
see ya,
all
take care,
individual
bye.